Okay, should we actually start for real?
Yeah.
Let's
Why
do
not?
it.
Okay,
Why not?
I'll do a cheesy little intro. All right. Hello and welcome to the Walking Dead Definitive Series developers commentary. Did you say "oh"? In the
Wait,
middle
my,
of
my microphone's not on, or I don't hear
Damn it.
anything. Sorry.
Damn
Because I
it.
switched out packs.
I
Sorry.
just
Do you hear anything?
just turn it up.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
turn it up. There you
Oh,
go.
now it's on.
Oh, it
Okay,
sounds
cool.
good. doesn't
He's a story
Is
guy.
that better?
He's a story
Sorry,
guy.
okay, cool.
Okay, take 7.
Okay, here we go. Hello and welcome to the Walking Dead Definitive Series developers commentary track. I think there's enough words in that title. My name is Kent Mutil. I am creative director of the final season and a cinematic artist on this season. And I am joined by an all-star cast of other developers who also worked on the season, and they are in sequence.
Dennis Lenart. I was a director and, head of cinematic department and been at Telltale forever.
OG.
Really, truly. I am Melissa Hutchison, and I am the voice of Clementine.
And I'm Dave Fenoy, and I am not a developer, but I am the voice of Lee Everett.
And I'm Julian Kwasniewski, and I did the voice direction and involved in casting and babysitting the talent.
Which is a task.
I'm so glad someone did that.
And I worked in what became known as the fun office,
Yes.
Oh, yes.
That's right.
Oh, boy.
Studio
Oh, boy.
Joy.
Studio
except
Jory
for
was
a
the fun
couple
office.
specific days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to play through the first episode of the first season and just talk about memories of making it as we go. So
What if we can't remember that far back?
I know,
I'm
right?
just kidding.
make up stuff. No one will know the difference.
Just correct
It
me.
was a long time ago.
Before we start, I just want to give a shout out to Sean Vanneman, Jake Rodkin.
Yeah.
Yes.
We wish could be here, but couldn't. And we'll try to talk about as much stuff as we remember
Who are they now?
to get them. Yeah, they were only the leads on this season. But yeah, we would definitely wouldn't be here without them. And
Yes.
they made a lot of amazing decisions that we got to work with on the rest of the season. So.
Amen. Hallelujah.
Yes.
Here, here. They make good video games. All right,
Yes.
let's start. But this is also a good video game.
100 Game of the Year awards.
Over.
That's true. More Game
I
of the Year
believe.
awards than it seems possible.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Just inventing companies. To
Sean
give
will
awards.
remember this.
And so begins.
Hey, we're in the Skybound offices right now. Look at that.
What?
Yep.
This has come real full circle.
Seriously.
So all the episode titles, or the title card of The Walking Dead, I remember having different colors, which was a Jake thing planned out from the beginning. Random detail that I didn't know when I was working on episode 2, and I changed the color, and then he came to me and went, "Why are you
Oh, that's
not doing
awesome.
the thing we're supposed to do?" I was like, "Oh, whoops,
There he is.
it's good."
Wow. There he is.
There's Sean Vanneman.
Hey.
Sean Vanneman.
Yay! Hey, Jake, Sean.
I like Sean's Vanneman. Hey, there's Mark Barbalack.
Oh yeah.
Who's also the legal counsel
Yes,
for
the
Telltale.
attorney for Telltale Games.
This the rearview mirror shot weirdly was like the most complicated technical thing we'd ever done in the Telltale engine at the time.
Isn't there like an entire second lead just sitting outside the side of the car when we see the shots of him reflected in the window?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
With just like a render constant alpha low or something. Yeah. But I remember hearing the pitch for this and thinking that starting in the back of a cop car on your way to jail was a pretty awesome setting for starting a game, and immediately people just getting invested and wanting to figure out
What's
what's
going
happening.
on? Yeah.
Who is this guy?
I love all
what's
the little
past?
things you see out the window, too.
Yeah, this is a good looping.
I feel like that
tile
was the
set.
station wagon that the stranger has in episode 2 that
Oh,
we just
that's
passed.
cool.
Yeah.
It's probably just a reuse of we needed car models at the time.
I think we added him in the collection version.
He's
One version of this,
passing
I
in the
think he was
wrong
put
lane.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure from
That's
a
awesome.
design standpoint, the idea of starting really limited for people in you just get control over the camera to sort of get comfortable with moving it around before you're actually in free walks and having to navigate in space as well. Yep. I think Eric Parsons worked on all of this stuff for
Yeah.
a long time. Typically at Telltale, the first scenes of any game go under extreme amounts of scrutiny. So
That's me on the radio.
Was that you?
Yeah.
You're all over
I'm
the
the
place.
answering machine. I'm the radio. I take
Yeah.
the big gigs.
There are
Yeah.
no small parts,
There
only
aren't.
small
That's
actors.
right.
Man, I got paid a lot for that, too.
He's got a bit of his
we
own
know
agency
that.
as a character. He's not totally just the player.
You know what I remember is doing this first episode. 20 minutes in, I was like, wow, this is really good. This is just good writing.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
I was really happy that I got this gig.
As we
I think
we
we
all
all are really happy that you
Yeah.
got this
And what
gig.
was great is those were the days when
very
we
mutual.
we flew them up, and so Dave would stay in Fairfax at the inn.
At the one hotel.
and you introduced me to all your radio buddies, like Dave Padilla.
Oh, Dave Padilla.
We partied with Dave.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. When
kinda
I was
aw-
on the radio on KSOL in the Bay Area in the 80s, Dave was my news guy.
That's so funny. I hear him all the time.
Oh, yeah. KCBS.
It's all a big mistake. It wasn't me.
It's good.
There you go.
And you know, you can't just say man. You really got to get that feeling. Man.
Achieved. You achieved.
Some of your finest acting work.
Murder that it wasn't him. I think he actually believed it himself. It goes to show. People up and go.
I definitely remember excitement around the office when there was a big search to find a Lee character, and it was a long, hard journey. And then I remember as soon as, oh god, now everything's coming off the rails.
Oh,
I can just keep going.
look out.
As
Help.
soon as we heard your voice and audition, everybody, it was just like the whole office was like, all right, cool, cast, done.
That's
Like, it was like
him.
amazing moment.
Well, we found Dave because he played a character in a Law and Order game, right?
Yeah.
We played
Right.
Montrose.
Montrose.
I was
A
a
villainous
I was
self-help
a
guru.
crooked politician.
Yep.
Well, and then also with Melissa as well, I remember in the early days, like Sean talking about how like nothing will work in this game if we don't have a good Clementine, and that was like the
Exactly.
big worry.
Oh,
It was
so
just
true.
like there's got to be someone to balance out like the strength that Dave brings for
Well-
his performance, and like obviously just having someone who can really embody that character and make her not feel like the typical video game kid, which all other video game
Right.
like children were till that
Weren't
time.
you guys
so.
also auditioning
Well, I was
actual
going to say we
children?
did that. Yeah, and I have a bunch of them that I listen to, and they're all kids, but they could never have the
Emotional range.
gravity that
It's a pretty
that you needed some
heavy
wisdom in
game.
there. It gets heavy.
This is a kid that goes through a lot.
Well, and also just the aging over the seasons.
Right.
You know,
Which wasn't known that
Like-
would happen, actually.
Yeah,
I don't
but
think that
just
was the
imagine
intention
if a kid
Nope.
had
going
you
into
know
season one.
gone off to college or something, and wait, we need you in this game.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. You can't go to college.
you know.
I mean, I'd rather personally voice acting college.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
mean,
choose
come
voice
on.
acting, but that's just me, and that's what I did.
Well, and I think
Boom, that's my story.
on a developer side too, Sean and Jake from like the very early days always sort of talked to the team about, treat Clementine as an adult. Like
Yeah.
think of her as that as opposed to a kid when you're making choices. And it definitely was a thing that made all the difference in the world because people
Right.
immediately throw out all the tropes you think and then like really sort of get your head into the character when you're sort of doing animation stuff or putting together the cinematics and
Well, and what you're speaking on as far as the children, you really see that, especially when she's reflecting in scenes with Duck. 'Cause
Yes,
Duck
totally.
is that
Yeah.
kid that
Absolutely.
if
Yeah.
he was the kid that
I'm gonna
Lee
drive
found,
the
it would be like
tractor.
this, yeah.
yep.
Okie dokie, Duck.
this was a great. I
Yeah.
love this whole scene.
It's such a good horror setup.
Yeah, it's
Here, let me go help this this cop that was driving. He looks injured.
You know what's interesting about this, and Dennis and Kent, I might be totally wrong,
It's a
but
cop.
not too many people at Telltale were actually watching, and here I am sitting in Skybound. We're not. This is like really. There wasn't like hardcore like, oh, I watched the show.
I know,
every
and we
week.
were-
It was
we would
all
we were
comic
watching it.
book.
Hadn't the show
Yeah.
just started?
It was
Yeah.
like going
around
into
the time
the
this game
second
coming out?
season because
wasn't
I
it-
was a fan of the show.
yeah,
The show had been on how many seasons?
I think it was going either finishing second season or going into the second season.
yeah. And it was great. Like I was watching it. I actually only meant to watch a few episodes to like get. We were still doing sound at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and just to see how they did the ambiances and what the zombies sound like, and then I got hooked on it.
Right. Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I was watching it, but not a lot. But it was a show that I was sampling because everybody was, oh, well, you got to watch the
Yeah,
watch it."
yeah.
Right. No, it was.
And then I really did when this audition came up.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
And I remember episode 1 or 2, Rolling Stone magazine came out and said the game is better than the TV show.
yeah, I remember.
Drop your mic. Just knock
Yeah.
it over right now. Boom.
Then there's something I want to ask about here. I remember this part being. I remember at one point the entire game was first person,
Yeah, so
and there was some kind of somewhat kind of late change.
one of the things that's relevant to bring up is one of the early sort of conceits of the game, where I remember Sean Jake talking a lot about how like players never care about their character dying because they're going to come back in 20 seconds after the load
Right.
screen. But investing in time in other characters to make it seem like they could die at any time was sort of like the big twist of what made this game really interesting.
And
is
it
'cause
was.
you're
I
always-
think it's what people really got invested in these characters more than I'd ever seen on
For sure.
anything. Yeah.